What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be looking at the Liger Mirage model. This is a huge model and one that I plan on painting as well, and it is really hard to find this particular one. I was super happy when I found it. I've already been digging through the pieces, so that's why it all looks kind of disheveled. But I was actually going through here and I was marking what colors I wanted to make each of these parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the paint and stuff ready, and you guys will get to see a little bit of the painting, and I'm going to spend the rest of the video putting the Liger together, and hopefully it will come out pretty good. I really hope this comes out good, because this is a limited edition model, and it's, like I said, really hard to find this particular one. So anyway, guys, hope you guys are ready for this, and let's get into it. So this build took several different colors of paint for me to go through. I had 3 different types of metal paints that I worked with. I used Mr. Hobby Dura Aluminum. I used Mr. Hobby Super Iron and Super Titanium. For the white, I actually mixed the white paint with some silver, and the brown for the body was actually a dark brown that I mixed with a hint of copper. The white was silver. Well, I already said the white, but yeah, like I said, silver and mixed with a little white, and the red was just a matte red that went well with the plastic that was already red. It was not too bad. There was a few splotches that I didn't get very well because it was dark, but otherwise it came out good. Alright, guys, so I just got done finishing all the painting. Now it's time to get the assembly going. I like how some of these colors really came out, especially this brown. I used some copper paint in there as well to kind of give the a little bit more of a metallic shine to it. So I really like how that came out. The white was a little bit disappointed with. I mixed some silver, like a very small amount of silver, into the white paint. That part came out good. The issue was I didn't have a lot of white paint, so I tried to spray as quickly as I could, and there's some spots on the white where I can see that it didn't quite get as much on there as I would have liked. But luckily, since white paint is white paint, and these parts were a kind of a pearl to begin with, it doesn't show up that well or that bad, so looks a lot better than I would have expected, considering how much paint. The parts that I really liked, so I think the claws and the blades came out really nice. I used a base gold. It was a paint by Mr. Hobby called Super Rich Gold, and then I added a little bit of orange yellow from the same brand, and so it gave it this real nice dark gold color here. So for the blades, the teeth, and the claws, all got that treatment there. One color that I was having issues with was the metals. So some of the parts I didn't paint the colors that I wanted to because I didn't realize I had so little of them. So this was one of them. This was originally supposed to be a Super Iron 2 by Mr. Hobby. Instead, I had to paint it I think it was Super Titanium is what I ended up going with on this one, which it still looks good, and it actually does match up a little bit better than the Iron did. But there were some parts like this one here, that didn't quite end up kind of as light as I wanted to, because this is supposed to be an offset of the white, which it will do fine. It definitely will do fine, but if you can see, these parts are right here, and there's the white. So I wanted this to be slightly lighter, but it's unfortunately not. you know, it's a little bit darker than I would like, but I don't think it's going to do too bad. So yeah, let's go ahead and start working on the assembly. Alright, so there were several things I ran into during this build that I really had issues with. The first being that when you were building the shot cannon, which is the double barrel gun under the underside of the Zoid, one of the parts is a very easy to snap off. It's like a little rail that is that attaches from the gun to the main body of the Zoid. The issue with it was the instructions are not very clear on how that part was supposed to go in, and I ended up snapping the little piece right off, the little knob that was supposed to slide in. That was the first issue I had. The second issue, and you'll see it coming up, is I was building the cannons slash boosters that give the Shield Liger Mirage its AB capabilities, which if you guys have been long-time fans of the game or the shows, you know that the AB unit is the cannons that the Blade Liger is able to equip later on. Those particular parts were extremely difficult to build. The instructions weren't very clear. A lot of it had sliding pieces that had to go into certain slide sections, and you had to you really needed 3 hands to get these pieces to stay put together. That's the best way I can really describe it. It was very difficult, and the biggest issue was you had to do it twice for obvious reasons. Otherwise, the build went pretty smoothly. It took about 6 hours total for me to get the entire Zoid put together. It was definitely a long build, and I probably shouldn't have taken it all in one sitting like I did. Once we get through the build sequence here, you'll see me come back on, and you'll see that you'll hear that I'm just flat out exhausted. The biggest issues I ran into, though, was probably the final assembly, which is always kind of irritating because you want to be delicate with it, but at the same time you need to really force some of the parts to fit together, because they really start to like bend or they start warping or whatever once they're all put together. It can be very difficult to get everything in. I actually, just further proof that I was tired, had an issue with the legs. I forgot to put 2 of the rubber stoppers into the legs, so they were just swinging around wildly and kept falling off, and it took me about 10 minutes to realize, oh wait, I skipped a step when building these legs. Alright guys, so I just finished everything up. It is like 2 in the morning right now, 2:30. So I'm gonna put this together for you guys, and then get a few shots of what it looks like for y'all, and then call this good. This video is like 5 hours long. I'll be sure to drop it down to not 5 hours. But for now, yeah, it's about 5 hours long. So hopefully, this is also the first time I've ever done a 4K video. So I'm sure file size on this video is going to be ridiculous, but hey, what can I say? Alright, so start with the legs. Okay. Okay. trying to do this carefully so I'm not destroying the work that I just put in, because this did take forever and a half. Okay, there we go. So far we're looking good. All right, I'm gonna pause here for a second because it seems like I forgot a piece. All right, so got the other piece. All right. The one thing I find very annoying about these models is that once you get everything like into place, it makes it very difficult for final assembly purposes. Okay, there we go. May have noticed that this piece here actually snapped. The instructions weren't exactly clear on how to put that on, so when I put it on, I snapped it. Apologize, guys. I am pretty tired. Okay, last little bit. The piece de resistance. Okay. So I do not like how loose these legs are. So what I'm gonna do is see if I can figure out a way to get them to stay in better. So give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, here it is. It looks really good. I think the paint I picked for this really actually worked out pretty well. I try to keep it pretty close with a few slight changes here and there. Some of the things I don't like about this model, though, was some of the instructions were a little unclear, and especially that part with the shock cannon underneath. It didn't really show that how you were supposed to put that piece in. I did try super gluing it back together. It didn't really work. Otherwise, this model came out pretty good. I really like it. I think it's a really cool looking build. I'll have to look into putting the stickers on later, just to give it the full military, you know, designation look to it. Otherwise, of the other models I've built, this is probably the longest one I've done. The only one that I think comes close to this is probably my DCS-J. It's a Shield Liger, so the Shield Liger DCS-J was actually a pretty long build as well, but I think this one probably was longer. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to like and subscribe if you guys are interested in more, and I'll see you guys next time.